Thank you. Thank you very much. You're a beautiful audience. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's all right. It's out of sight. We are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to and welcome to the audience on KYAH Radio. Welcome to the audience on YouTube. We won't be able to stay with you very long on YouTube for obvious reasons. Thank you to the audience on Twitter, on Twitch, on Trovo, and on our go-to platform, Rockfin. It's ROKFIN.com/The Christian Whistleblower. Come check it out. Chuck in the house says he's so grateful for the crucial information that flows from this group and Jeff. Without a doubt, I am your mailman. I bring you the news. I put it in your box. Doesn't matter to me what you do with it from there, but my job is to bring you the mail, to bring it rain, snow, sleet, dark of night. I will do it, only I do it for free, not like the U.S. mail. And I'm so glad that John from Tulsa's in the house. Mooney says, hi, I like your personality. Thank you. I like your blue dress. Nice stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a great program set up for you tonight. It's our next to last night on the week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We're here from 9 p.m. Central straight on through till midnight. Wednesday night, we start a little later at 10 p.m. and go through till midnight. Last night, we had 2 trees. You want to go back and listen to that program. It was powerful. And Friday night, we always have our Friday night conspiracy classics. So we'll do what we do, and then we'll talk a little bit about lichens, lichens, werewolves, Dogman, all that good stuff on tomorrow night. But tonight, folks, a very, very important subject, and this is at the very core of my frustrations with YouTube, because it's the most important thing happening in our world today, without a doubt. This pandemic. It's the most important thing happening in our world today. And yet, YouTube, that's supposed to be a bulletin board that allows for freedom of expression, is not. It's a communist, censoring, leftist controlling entity that is acting as an editor when they're not supposed to be. As a result, we can't stay on here and give you information that you deserve to know about the most important thing that's happening in our world today. And that is certainly indicative of what's going on. And that really is the pandemic sucker punch. The pandemic sucker punch isn't what you think it is. The pandemic sucker punch is something else entirely. And if you're on YouTube, we appreciate you. We hope you'll subscribe to the channel. We hope that you'll continue to watch the content. But yet we have to leave. We have to leave. So you can go over to Twitter. I'm at Unindoctrinate. You can go over to Twitch and Trovo, the Christian Whistleblower. And of course, you can go over to Rockfin, where I am the Christian Whistleblower. That's ROKFIN. And you don't have to subscribe to Rockfin to hear most of the content. If you want to hear premium content, which we're going to start bringing more of, then you subscribe, but you get everybody's premium content all at once. Just the Hound back in the house. Nice to see you. Carmen Gibbs, nice to see you. We're very, very happy and very, very touched. Tracy Dyer is in the house. Brandon's in the house. It's always good to see all of the friends, old and new. And there's a rumor going around that I blocked a lot of people. I didn't. I just got kicked off of YouTube. You know, we had our 53,000-ish show, our channel. They kicked us off for medical misinformation about the pandemic. And that's really the pandemic sucker punch. So if you're on YouTube, we appreciate you. And we invite you to come over to the other platforms. And I know you only got about 7 minutes, 8 minutes tonight, but we wanted to at least show up, let you know where we're going to go, and let you know where you can go if you want to get some truth, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. So we bid you adios, amigos, over on YouTube, and let's jump in to the meat and potatoes, ladies and gentlemen, even though I don't eat them. Nice to see you on YouTube. We'll see you again real soon. Everybody wave bye-bye to YouTube. And YouTube is gone. YouTube is gone. I quit Facebook. I quit DLive because DLive was trying to be like YouTube. So we just said we're out of here. And we hope that we don't have to do that as far as YouTube goes, but we'll see. So let's jump right into this tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The pandemic sucker punch. And I was really excited. What happened? I was really excited. What happened? I got really excited, and then I can't figure out how to work this anymore. What happened? Share screen. There we go. Boom. Sorry, just a momentary mental lapse. So that's kind of an interesting look with the purple and the purple. But anyway, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Pandemic sucker punch with Jeffery Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. Let's jump in. Kind of a cool looking graphic, huh? It's a crazy, crazy world that we live in, folks. And before 2020, the pandemic, you know, those words could have referred to any number of different events. And I say events, not illnesses, not viruses. I say events because I think the takeaway from this is that they are events. I don't want to bury the lead, but the pandemic, it could have been referred to many different events that have come and gone over the years, each leaving their marks on our society, but none of the preceding events was ever used, abused, and perverted the way this stupid 19 scamdemic has been used, abused, and perverted. No supposed pathogen, and folks, I choose my words extremely carefully. Keep that in mind. So no, I know I'm Irish, James, but I don't eat potatoes because I'm a keto carnivore. Now and then a tomato, now and then a piece of broccoli, but that's about it. The very rare occasion, a bite or two of fruit, but I'm a keto carnivore. So no supposed pathogen. Tony Z in Australia, nice to see you, along with Carmen. No supposed pathogen in recent memory has been discussed, dissected, debated, argued over, and much more disturbingly, politicized the way that the stupid 19 has been. And while we have access now to more information than ever before in human history, no pathogen, quote unquote, has been so obfuscated. That means your knowledge is prevented. It's nothing has been so shrouded in misinformation and disinformation. And silly me, I should have done this on YouTube. It's time for the White Dianetic Minute, ladies and gentlemen. And I was a little slack today. I had to go buy a little toy like this right here, a little 38 Smith & Wesson Model 60. It's a crazy world out there. I get death threats, so, you know, this is in the studio. Just so you know, we had a little time. So anyway, folks, I want to let you know that we're going to start bringing you the Dianetic Minute, White Dianetic Minute on every program, and we're going to build out a whole Dianetic discussion. So Dianetics is an exact science. White Dianetics is an exact science. No, he's not a Scientologist. No, he doesn't believe the Church of Scientology. If you listen a little bit more, you would know that. But White Dianetics is the most elegant collection of spiritual technologies that the world has ever known. And it's an exact science. Its axioms should not be confused with theories, since they demonstrably exist as natural laws that have just been hitherto misunderstood and undiscovered. And the fact of the matter is, why, Jeff, are you so into White Dianetics? Because it works every single time. Every single time, ladies and gentlemen. And the first contribution of Dianetics is the discovery that the problems of thought and mental function can be resolved, and listen to this, within the bounds of the finite universe. Ooh. All of your problems of mental function can be resolved within the boundaries of the finite universe. You don't need angels. You don't need guides. You don't need ascended masters. You don't even need gurus, ladies and gentlemen. You don't. The answers to yourself, this body, this person that you are in this life that we're living, all of those answers are available right here, right now, without having to dive into or delve into the esoteric, which is to say that all data needful to the solution of mental action and man's endeavor can be measured, sensed, and experienced as scientific truths independent of mysticism, independent of metaphysics. The various axioms are not assumptions or theories or faith. Tony Z, thank you so much. $10 tip. They're not metaphors. The case of past ideas about the mind, but are laws which can be subjected to the most vigorous and rigorous laboratory and clinical tests. So you don't have to join anything. You don't have to give anything. You don't have to give your soul. You don't have to ask any entities to possess you. You don't have to cover yourself with blood. None of that. And it's interesting, as Chuck weighs in the Rockfin chat room, the pandemic is the most graphic manifestation of black Dianetics that we have ever seen. And as we get into this, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Because black Dianetics, MK Ultra, is the domain of obfuscation, shrouding, misinformation, disinformation. That's what this pandemic is all about. To this day, we still don't know the whole story about this pandemic. We don't know the whole story. And anyone that tells you that they do is wrong. It's just that simple. We don't know the whole story. Did this COVID-19 occur naturally? Did it escape from a lab? Did China do it? Was it done to China? Is it even real? Is it organic? Is it man-made? Oh, crap, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, crap, ladies and gentlemen. I did not start the radio. Oh, my. Oh, my. We're going to pretend like we didn't notice that. Do you think they noticed in 14 minutes? Oh, my. Bad, Jeff. Bad, Jeff. But to this day, we don't know the whole story. Did COVID-19 occur naturally? Did it escape from a lab? Did China do it? Was it done to China? Is it even real? Is it organic? Is it man-made? Did the CCP or some other government simply lose control of a virus they created? Was it deliberately inflicted upon the world by China? Or was China targeted? There's a lot of smart people asking these questions. We can't answer these questions. And you know that even if I could, I wouldn't, because I'm not here to answer your questions. I am here to get you to ask questions and then to question answers. What I do, what the mailman does, what the spiritual drill sergeant does is provide you with information so you can make your own decisions. I'm not a guru. I am the mailman. If it is to be, it's not up to me, it's up to you. So if it is to be, it's up to me. That's what you need to say for yourself, about yourself, to yourself. Make your own decisions. I give you as much information as I can to ensure that you can make the most informed decision. TMP Wild, $10 tip. Thank you so much. It's a scary world to live in now. TMP, I feel you. I do. I understand. I don't literally feel you because that'd be creepy, but I understand what you're talking about. And yet, TMP, it's so weird because Cynthia would agree with you. It's a scary world. But me, I'm excited. I'm stoked. I'm literally excited about what's happening in this world. Maybe I'm mentally irregular. That goes without saying. But I am not frightened. I am not afraid. I am not scared. I am excited because I know, man, I know. And the reason why I got, it's some discussion in the chat, and the reason why I got the Smith & Wesson Model 60 little 5-shot 38 revolvers because I carry normally the Glock 19, but I like to wear shorts. And sometimes when you're wearing shorts, especially athletic type shorts, that Glock 19 is too big, even with the great holster that Scott Bonner gave me. So I went to the little Glock, or the little Smith & Wesson 38, so I can carry this anywhere, anytime. I can put this into my underoos, no problem. And it just is boom, easy. So that's my reason. I love the Glock 19. I will continue to carry it when I'm wearing appropriate clothing, but because I just did the trip, it was a little bit, and I have dropped it before. I've actually dropped, I don't wear short shorts. I have dropped the Glock before, which is bad, but not with a Glock because it won't go off. But you don't want to be dropping. You're out there bending over to throw some garbage away and punk, out comes the Glock. Not good. Not good. Yeah, and you can never go wrong, as Karina B. Moore says, with the Smith & Wesson 38. It's a great little weapon. Okay. But we're not here to talk about weapons, or are we? The scandemic, it took us by surprise. It was like a sucker punch, an attack seemingly from nowhere. That's why we conceal carry, not because we live in fear. I just finished telling you I don't have any fear. There's a difference between fearful and being prepared, because you never know when some fool is going to come up and think that it's their turn to take you out. But the problem is that nothing should surprise us. We shouldn't be surprised that people will attack us. We shouldn't be surprised that people might try to take away our life. We shouldn't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, about this scamdemic, because they've been showing us for years what they were going to do. They've been planning it. They've been testing it. They've been putting out their trial balloons, so to speak, and we should have seen it. There were lots of warning signs. There was plenty of historical precedents for this plandemic. And plandemics have happened before. And guess what, folks? Plandemics are going to happen again. Whether it's real, whether it's natural, whether it's organic, whether it's man-made, whether it's deliberate, whether it's accidental. This 2020 scandemic, and now into 2021, it itself might have seemed like a sucker punch, but it was, in fact, a disaster that we could have and should have been prepared for. You're listening to Late Night in the Heartland with Jeffery Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, and your mailman. The so-called global elites, because they are not elite. And we make the mistake by calling them the elites. I don't do that anymore because they are not elite. They are L-eats. They like to eat us, but they can eat you know what. Can't say it because I'm on the radio. These so-called L-eats are using the stupid 19 plandemic as an excuse to attack our rights and to clamp down on what remains of free, and I've got to say it, white Western societies. We talked yesterday, and it's up on Rockville. I pulled it out and made a little video of it. Harvard, Ivy League, Harvard, arguably the most famous university in America. Harvard is sponsoring and allowing a black-only graduation ceremony this year for the first time. Can you imagine that? Whether you like it or not, whether you're comfortable with it or not, whether you wish you didn't have to hear it or not, we are witnessing a planned, systematic, targeted attack on white Western society. Period. It's just the truth. Look around. Look around. They are attacking free white Western societies. Why? Because we've got the answer for the problems, and we are the greatest threat to these cabal individuals. And guess what? We're not going away. Sorry. They're already making plans to use the next pandemic to their advantage. All the new regulations that they've created, every historic attack on your rights, it lays the groundwork for an even worse infringement upon your liberties in the future. When the next scandemic comes, and it will, as long as we're seeing, if you look around, you're seeing these manufactured spikes in what they call infectious diseases worldwide. But the physical threat of these diseases, which aren't even real, quote unquote diseases, is not the worst danger that you're going to face. And I want you to, I always do this, and I know I make Christians mad, but I can't go past this scandemics, pandemics, without looking and thinking about your script. You call it the scripture, as I call it your script. And as I think about this, and as I look at this, it's so clear to me that Bible prophecy is scripted prophecy. It's not really prophecy. It's just the cabal telling you what they're going to do and then doing it. And you, with your low mental acuity, think that because they told you what they were going to do and then they started doing it, that it's somehow divine and miraculous and you believe them. What is wrong with you? Let's start in Revelation chapter 6 and verse number 8. I think that's what it is. You can take the boy out of the Bible, but you can't take the Bible out of the boy. It takes a while. And I did this professionally for 25 years. So Revelation 6:8, I'm pretty sure that's where I want to go. And I'll show this to you as well. Revelation 6:8. Let's show you what we got, because that's the way we roll. We don't tell you, we show you, because, again, we're not here to give you answers. We're here to teach you how to ask the right questions. Revelation 6:8. So the text, the context is, these are the seals that are being opened. First one is a rider on a white horse. And if you look at these, and I've done full programs on this, it's at jeffreydaugherty.com. What this is, what Revelation 6 is, what the seven seals are, what the trumps are, what the vials are, is very simply a graphic depiction of a communist takeover of the world. And if you can't see this, you're not paying attention. The white horse rider goes out, going out conquering and to conquer. What does communism do? It conquers. And obviously, when you go out, and communism always comes on the white horse. Oh, we're here to save everyone. It's the workers' paradise. We're going to make everybody happy. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Roxanne B., you cannot be proved wrong. Anthony Fauci is without a doubt a horrific mass murderer. So the saviors come on their white horses. They go out conquering and to conquer. And then, of course, some people say, no, I'm not going to go. And then peace gets taken from the earth. War happens. What happens when war happens? You get famine, right? You get famine. And then when you get famine, what do you get? You get death. You get death. And you get death from different sources with war and famine. And this is what we're looking at with Revelation 6:8. Now, this is Revelation, or this is the King James Version. We'll go and we'll look at it in another version, and we'll look at it in the Greek so you can get right to exactly what we're talking about. But the fourth seal, pale horse, really green, because green is, kind of, you get green, you die, you look, anyway. Death and hell. There's a fly in here. That's very unusual. And power was given over the fourth part of the earth. So if there's, I'm not good at math. They say there's let's say there's 8 million. Okay, I can do that. 8 million divided by 4 is 2 million. Or billion, I'm sorry. 2 billion. So if you got 8 billion and you took out 2 billion, oh, check this out, ladies and gentlemen. 2 billion, now you're down to 6 billion and on your way to where you want to be if you're the cabal. But fourth part of the earth gets killed with the sword, which would be war. Hunger, which would be famine. What if it's 2 billion, a fourth each? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, boy. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be taken alive, Venus. That's how you do that. So let's just say that 1/4 of the earth is killed with sword by war. Okay? Another fourth is killed with hunger. Now you're down to half. A third of the fourths is killed with death, which is really pestilence, and we'll get into that, disease. And what does that leave you with? Just the beast of the earth, which if you are the Zadokим, you think everybody that's not a Zadokim is a beast. This word beast always refers to Gentiles. So if they kill 3/4 of us, and there's 8 billion, that means they're left with just 2 billion on the earth. Wow, that's very interesting. But what we're talking about here tonight is the announced plan to take out 1/4 of the earth's population with what here is called death. Let's look at this verse in a more literal translation. You see this? A fourth of the earth. What's a fourth mean? Let's look at it. A fourth, a quarter. And this is interesting because in Teteros is very close to Tartarus, which is hell or the grave. See, you got to learn to recognize these things. So it means a part of the whole, a sizable amount, but not the majority. So it could be, and it's not just 1/4. In other words, they're going to kill everybody except they'll keep enough to be slaves. They've always been in the slave business. They've always been in the slave business. They started taking my people first, the Irish. Then they started taking the black people. So if there's going to be reparations, me first, where's my money? Nobody that's never been a slave is going to get any money from anybody that never owned a slave. Get over it. But if there is going to be reparations, first come, first serve, give the Irish boys some money. But anyway, they're going to kill us all, except for enough of us to be washing their toilets and cleaning their floors. That's the plan. And that's really the pandemic sucker punch. But watch this. Sword, which is war. Famine, which is hunger. Plague. Ooh, plague. What's plague? Plague. Physical. Plague is talking about pestilence. That's what I was looking for. Pestilence. It's talking about disease. Wow. It's talking about disease, ladies and gentlemen. So they want to kill 1/4 of the earth with disease. Or maybe not 1/4, a sizable amount of the earth with disease. What are they doing right now? They're killing us with disease. Or are they? They're doing something that's killing people, and it's killing a lot of people. And just because they've planned to do it and they told you they were going to do it and now they're doing it doesn't mean it's divine. And if you believe it is, it means you're dumb. I just can't put it any other way. It's called scripted prophecy. It's not divine Bible prophecy. They've been planning to do it. They wrote it in the book. Now they're doing what they said they're going to do. And you're silly enough to think that that means it's divine. That's why you are next in line. And that's why we're the heck out of here. And y'all can wash the toilets and clean the floors if it ever gets to that, because we're not going to be here anymore. And it's interesting because what is a deep underground military base? Dumb. They tell you. You're dumb. James Williams, $5. I bet they are terrified of what would happen if cousins from USA, Canada, Australia, and Europe were to unite against them. We are gonna. Thank you for that, James. We're gonna. We are fixing to. Thank you for the $5 tip. We are gonna make it. We are gonna make it. We're gonna win this thing. So I had to bring that in. I know that's not really about what we're talking tonight, but it really is. And that's the part that nobody gets. So it's all about prophecy. And the physical threat of these manufactured pathogens is not really the biggest danger. It's not really the biggest danger. Because governments around the world have learned that they can use this new idea of public health to institute totalitarian lockdowns. Brandon says, Aryans rise up. I say, yes, Aryans need to rise up, but we've got to understand, and I'll take a minute to talk about this. We've got to understand that Aryans is a word that's been bastardized. When you say Aryan, you think of white racist and bad. No, Aryan is the original people that built everything and make everything good and powerful. And that blood runs through the veins of white people, but it also runs through the veins of red people, yellow people, and black people. Many people, because, can we just say it? And we did do a great show on that once. Thank you, Just the Hound. They're all on jeffreydaugherty.com. Go down to the videos. Can we just say that white people, a little bit freaky. White people like ladies. They do. White people like ladies. And apparently white people like black ladies and red ladies and yellow ladies and white ladies. Ergo, you've got Aryan blood running through all races. And maybe we shouldn't have, but maybe it's good that we did. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. That is not what we're here to talk about tonight. So we'll move right along. They've created and weaponized this scamdemic to achieve their own goals. And they're now arrogant enough to talk about it openly. And that really ticks me off. It really does. They're so open about it. They use this pandemic as a great reset to put us all under their boot heels. They've shut down whole economies, which, remember, we talked about night before last, that economies are really energy systems. Why do the Zadokim, why do the Yehudim want to control all the money? Why? Venus, a 38 Smith & Wesson, is a nice little weapon. I'm just saying. And Taurus makes a nice little 38 if finances aren't what you want them to be. The warrior blood, exactly, Cynthia, exactly right. They've shut down economies, which are really energy systems. This is why the Zadokim seek to control finance, because they understand that finance controls energy. And if you don't think finance controls energy, do a little thought experiment with me, ladies and gentlemen, right now. How do you feel when you got money in the bank? Money, money, heck yeah, woo, money! How do you feel? I got money. You feel great, right? Your energy's way up there. How do you feel when you got too much month at the end of your money? Oh, You're down, you're depressed, you're so poor you can't even afford to pay attention. You're on that low income diet. Works every time. Tell me again that economies aren't energy systems. Yes, they are. They've placed entire populations under house arrest. They've inflicted draconian punishments on anyone who speaks out or disobeys. They've trampled freedom of speech, even though I'm not for it, freedom of religion. You have the freedom to worship silly little gods if you want, and you should be allowed to do so. And they've also trampled on freedom of assembly. Seeing how much power a scamdemic affords them, you know they're ready to do it again over and over and over, and we're going to need to be ready for this. They found out that scamdemics work better than anything, man. Anything. Because we're really silly people, but we're waking up. The bottom line, the real scamdemic sucker punch is that this scamdemic was and is a sucker punch to our civil liberties. This is not about a pathogen. This is not about a sickness. This is not about a dis-ease. It is about a dis-ease. They're putting us all in dis-ease, lack of ease. But this whole thing is an excuse to limit our civil liberties. This whole thing is an excuse to bring in, oh, Cynthia says tasers are good too. And guess what else I got? Folks, I plan ahead. If I'm out and about and for some reason this can't do the job, I got the taser, and I also got a knife. Be prepared. They may come for me, but they are not, they better pack a lunch because it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy. And they're cowards. Keep that in mind. We need to know what we can do to fight back. When the cabal tries to tighten their grip on our freedom, we need to know what you can do to prepare for the next scamdemic. We need to know how to use tested survival principles and strategies to gear up, stock up, and dig in for the next time this happens. And there will be a next time. And because it fits in really well right now, you can go to preparewithdaugherty.com. My Patriot Supply is having a 25% off sale on their 30-day survival food. And let me show you something. I mean, this thing is 50 pounds probably. Whoa, sorry. See that? That's half of a 30-day supply. That's half of a 30-day supply for one person. Oh, I forgot about the big knife too. I got double knife. I got the big knives, the kukuru or whatever they're called that Cynthia got. And then I got my pocket knife. But folks, it is what it is. You ought to have at least 30 days. Two Trees says 90 days. I agree. Of food for everybody in your house and water. So you can prepare with Daugherty.com. That's My Patriot Supply. You get 25% off. We get a few shekels to expand this work. So there you go. It fit in, so we did that. It can happen. It has happened, and it will happen. So the only difference is whether you'll be prepared to meet it. In other words, you need to get ready now. Actually, you need to be ready before now. Because there's always signs. And they've been showing them to us, and they've just been repeating. This pandemic, our governments and all cabal governments, and all governments are cabal, and if they're not a cabal government, their leaders get killed. Like the brave men that said no to bringing the vaccine into their country, and these men have all died. And they're mostly all black, which is really interesting. You can't have black people standing up and empowering people. You need black leaders to keep black people complicit and black people compliant. Can't have no black leaders empowering black people, because only we Aryans want that to happen. I am for the white race being powerful. I'm for the black race being powerful, the yellow race being powerful, the red race being powerful. Because when each individual race is powerful, then the human race is powerful and optimized. But our government and all the cabal governments have known for years that a pandemic was likely to occur because they planned it. They wrote it in the book of Revelation. They use conflicting messages from the CDC, the Surgeon General, the WHO, and operatives like fake Fauci. They deliberately manipulate their messaging in order to achieve more sinister goals. That's the way they roll. And there's a lot of precedent for this. We should have seen it coming. If we look back to 1918, you look through black and white photos of the Spanish flu pandemic, and I'm going to tell you why it's called that. Everybody is seen what? Wearing masks. And phony Fauci actually wrote a paper that stated that most of the people that died, quote unquote, of the Spanish flu, quote unquote, died from getting sick from wearing masks. That's why he originally said, don't wear masks. And the Surgeon General said, don't wear masks. But there's whole families in these 1900 photos of the Spanish flu, men, women, children, pets, staring at the camera with resigned expressions, all of them wearing surgical masks. And, you know, if you run the cabal and you can get grown people to put on a mask, you know that you're in control. And we were told this was a bird flu and that we all required treatment. Come on, folks. Bird flu treatment. And then they brought us down to swine flu, which we need ointment. Come on, guys. It's a tough crowd. And you know why it came to be called the Spanish flu? It came to be called the Spanish flu because they put a worldwide moratorium on news about it, and only our Spanish friends talked about it. So that's why it became known as the Spanish flu. We're told that this Spanish flu killed some 675,000 Americans. According to History.com, citizens back during the Spanish flu were ordered to wear masks. Schools, theaters, and businesses were shuttered, and shaking hands was discouraged. If it's all starting to sound eerily familiar, it should, but we are only getting started. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. And we are going to take our first break. We're going to take our first break. Come on, man. Work with me. Thank you. We're going to take our first break. We'll be right back to get more into this talk of the pandemic sucker punch. And folks, we have a new sponsor I'm very excited about. And in fact, we've already had multiple people take advantage of this new sponsor. And it's called EMP Shield. And while we go to our break, we're going to let you hear from the great people over at EMP Shield. I can remember this one's really short, and I hope I have enough time to get done what I need to get done. So I'm going to have to run really fast. And if for some reason I don't make it back right before the end, I'll do it. So anyway, folks, these are the great folks at EMP Shield. And all you have to do is go to EMPShield.com and use the coupon code UNINDOCTRINATE for $50 off. And I think you can double dip on discounts right now. So according to the lovely Cynthia, you can. So here we are, folks. Let's hear from our great friends over at EMP Shield. I'm Jeffery Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. We're here for one reason and one reason only, to help you unindoctrinate yourself. We'll be back to get boom right after this.
Hey everybody, I'm Andrew from EMP Shield, and today I'm excited to show you our new technology, the world's first whole home EMP protection device. With over 37 models that can be used around the world, our family of EMP protection devices installs easily in minutes. Being employed this year by federal organizations and electrical companies, the EMP Shield has been tested at Keystone Compliance, a federally approved DoD testing facility. Also serving as one of the world's fastest whole home surge protection devices, working in less than 1 nanosecond, the EMP Shield will protect against electromagnetic pulses, coronal mass ejections, lightning, and all forms of power surges. Proven to withstand more than 40 EMP strikes with zero degradation, the EMP Shield is also one of the world's strongest surge protectors, capable of withstanding over 100,000 amps. So, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like our video and post any comments you have down below. We're sure you guys are going to have quite a few questions, so our engineers are going to be on standby to answer any questions you may have. Most importantly, be sure to share our video, as we're sure your friends are also going to be interested in our new technology. Help us get an EMP Shield into every house in America. Thanks again for watching. Bye.
I think he was standing in an RV. I really do. And they are made right here in the Heartland, ladies and gentlemen, right here in Kansas. So go to EMPshield.com, use the coupon code UNINDOCTRINATE, and get your stuff protected, because we know we're all worried about these EMPs. I know a lot of you are worried about the mass coronal ejaculations. I know you are. Those can be messy. And EMP Shield will help you. I'm sorry. I just can't help myself sometimes. It's a little personal joke between Cynthia and I, the whole coronal ejaculation thing, because she's into that and I'm not. So, you know, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. So let's get right back into our great presentation. If I can find it. How's everybody out there in radio land? How's everybody out there in video land? Everybody happy? Everybody enjoying themselves? Everybody getting some good stuff? Don't be afraid. Be motivated. Be empowered. So it's starting to sound familiar. And folks, they're just getting started. The Russian flu came in 1977. It was also known as the Red Flu because this was the former USSR. It spread quickly around the world. And interestingly enough, honey, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I'm laughing with you. It affected young people almost exclusively. You got this one that hasn't been affecting young people at all, quote unquote. That one affected young people almost exclusively. It's almost like they're trying different things. Interesting, isn't it? And interestingly enough, they speculate, which is a fancy word for lie, that the Russian flu was the result of, a laboratory accident. How do all of these great, highly, secure, great protocols, they have a lot of accidents, these laboratories. A virus inadvertently escaped, which is cabal talk for deliberately released. You remember the SARS, 2002 to 2004. It's often cited of how great our government is because they took care of it and almost nobody died. The CDC, the WHO, they claimed that they were stunning and that they were brilliant. And it was cooperation of world leaders, health researchers, combined with cutting-edge technology that saved us all. They told us to trust them because they were the experts. You see how they're setting this up? We got one that'll kill old people. We got one that'll kill young people. We'll get them all set up to think that we're the heroes and we can fix everything. And then comes swine flu, the one that needs the ointment. 12,000 Americans died from the swine flu, H1N1, the Heine flu. H1N1 Heine. It's so named for a respiratory illness commonly found in pigs. Pigs, ladies and gentlemen, pigs. Because guess what they think you are? A swine. And you will be, and who just said this in the chat room? Who will be, they think you're a swine. And you won't be anything other than a swine, even when pigs fly. Even if swine flew, you're still a pig. Wow. A respiratory illness found in pigs that had never, ever jumped from pigs to people. But all of a sudden in 2009, which adds up to 11, Cynthia, that's hilarious. They found a strain that did. Cynthia says, I didn't have a TV for a lot of years, so I didn't know my life was in danger. That's awesome. I love that. I love that. Two Tree says that the Uranus flu is next. Ooh, it could be. But maybe we'll be able to prevent that. The Wall Street Journal said in 2009, just like they said in 1918, just like they said in 2002, officials urged communities, businesses, and individuals to plan for school closures, employee absences, and surges of patients in hospitals. So what was swine flu in 2009? It was a dry run for this stupidity that we got going on right now. That's exactly what it was. Wow, this is good stuff, huh? Ebola, hemorrhagic fever, and here's your butt flu. People suffer from vomiting and diarrhea. They bleed internally and externally. Dehydration, organ failure, killing up to 90% of those affected with the disease, the dis-ease from shock due to fluid loss. Wow. Learn the lesson. What you may have noticed at this point is that each one of these previous pandemics demonstrates how our government uses pandemics. Never let a good crisis go to waste. What's the next step of never let a good crisis go to waste? Create a crisis and then let it not go to waste. And they learned that pandemics are the best way to get control and to trample individual rights. And you know that that was always part of the plan because you know the scripted prophecy of Revelation called for it. Avian flu, the bird flu, was a trial run for a worldwide scandemic. Now we're being told by the CDC itself that we may be forced into FEMA camps by the government in order to protect public health. Now, I have often made fun, and I have made fun of Cynthia about this. She tells me there's a FEMA camp out here, but you can't see it. I'm, oh, it's the secret, invisible FEMA camp. And let's don't feed the trolls, please, in the chat room. If we ignore them, they'll go away. Free speech, unless everybody has free speech, nobody does, but we can still not feed the trolls. And you got all the Walmarts, they're all going to be FEMA camps. They're closing, and the Walmarts. And I'm just like, ugh, whatever. But now it's, boy. Now you've got my attention. I just need receipts, folks. I just need proof. I don't do speculation. I don't do speculation. And now it's not speculation. And speaking of speculation, a decade ago, the CDC, that's 10 years for the Christians that are watching, said this still on the FEMA camp. It's a closed military base. A whole Lisa with the prerequisite huge coffins. You know, I would have thought silly, but now I'm not so sure. Lisa might be right. Cynthia might be right. You got my attention. I'm not laughing anymore. I'm still chortling a little bit, but I'm not outright laughing because I don't think it'll get there. I really don't. But be prepared. Be prepared. So a decade ago, the CDC created a zombie comic book. A zombie comic book that treated the scandemic like a zombie outbreak. And if you remember at the time, zombie movies and zombie TV were becoming hugely popular. The Walking Dead just happened to have premiered a year before the CDC brought out their zombie outbreak cartoon. The CDC clearly saw this as a way to soften the blow of government control of the population in a pandemic. If they could couch it as a horror movie in which the government is saving you from deadly monsters, you and your family would be more likely to accept their dictates no matter how unconstitutional. And guess who the zombies are? The unvaxxed. Or are they? Because I got something for you on that. In the cartoon panel, after a poorly drawn cartoon panel, that's exactly what they did. And because I'm who I am, I provided you a little look-see at some of those panels. Quarantine efforts here in Raleigh haven't done much to contain the spread of the virus. Over the half the city is now infected, and new cases are showing up throughout the southeast. That could have been pulled from today's news. Back to you in the studio, Samantha. This is a very grave, get it? A very grave and dangerous situation. The governor has declared a state of emergency and has activated the National Guard. Tennessee governor, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but it looks like it's a real executive order, has just authorized the use of these camps that we're talking about. It's getting, yeah. The governor is urging everyone who's not showing symptoms to stay in their homes and keep the doors locked. Cynthia, what did they just tell the people that got the vaccine? They were telling you if you got the vaccine, you can go out and do whatever you want, go back to normal. Now they're saying if you got the vaccine and you've been exposed to people that haven't got it, or if you've been exposed to people that have had the COVID, put on a mask and stay home. Dude. That's exactly what they said a decade ago. And then the CDC is working with local health departments on a vaccine. Until then, bunker down and don't go outside unless you have to. What? This was 10 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. It's like it was 10 minutes ago. And then here's another girl. I don't think it's the same girl on the TV. She got a University of Indiana shirt on, which is kind of interesting. Indiana. I was just in Indiana yesterday. I thought you said stuff like this only happened in the movies. What's going on, Todd? Wow, see? This comic is basically propaganda designed to lull you into a false sense of security. The government is here to help you. The government is here to save you. And if they have to take away your rights, they're doing it because they love you very much, and they're doing it for the name of public health. That's the message and philosophy of the CDC as an organization, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for us to wake up and smell the coffee, folks. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. That's where we are right now. We're living in the movies, as Dagger says. We're living in the movies. So, of course, I thought of this. 1 Thessalonians 4:16 and 17. Let me show this to you real quickly, because I want to show you something that if you have any ability to think rationally and independently left, this will slap you like a wet mop hitting a watermelon. I'll let that one sink in for a minute. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Let's read it. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, It's a military command. Well, how do you know, Jeff? Well, see, this is what you do. The Lord himself would descend from heaven. See, even here, these guys in the Berean Bible are much more. He will descend from heaven with a loud command because it's a word of command. It's a call. It's a military command. Kaleo. A command, an order. The rapture is going to take how many people out? And it's a military operation. How stupid do you have to be to not see that Bible prophecy is communism in action? The rapture is a military exercise to kill your stupid you-know-whats. Man, why do you yell at us, Jeff? Why do you call us stupid? Because I'm trying to wake you up. You're delirious. I'm trying to slap you. So he comes down with a military command. What does military do? Kill people and break things. What has this little goat herder God always done? Killed people and break things. So it comes down with a loud command, with the voice of an archangel. What's an archangel? A messenger. It's the generals calling out the orders. And the orders are kill them. The trumpet call of God. Have you never watched the movies? A trumpet is a sound for an army to go to war. And you can't see this. Remember, the CDC is talking about zombies. The dead in Christ will be the first to rise. They're dead. They're dead, lifeless corpses. They will rise. They will rise up. They will get out of the grave. Oh, but Jeff, it says at the last trumpet will be changed. That's right. This is the first trumpet. It's not the last trumpet. The last trumpet doesn't occur until late in Revelation. So do you see what you got here? Only the Christian whistleblower, only the mailman, only the spiritual drill sergeant, only the best in the world at what he does can show you the CDC's talking about zombies. These people are supposed to get out of the grave at the rapture, but it's at least, depending on your theology, 3.5 years or 7 years before they get changed. There'll be zombies walking around. The Bible says there's going to be zombies walking around. The Bible says there'll be a zombie apocalypse. And guess what? Jesus is a zombie. Well, more accurately, a leech, but the same thing. Leech. Do you see this? I'm sure it's just a coincidence that the CDC is talking about a zombie apocalypse. And do you realize with this rapture thing, they could take out 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion people and call it the rapture, and people will be praising plastic Jesus. Folks, pull your head out of your orifice. Wake up and realize what they're doing to you with Bible prophecy, scripted prophecy. It's a zombie apocalypse and the rapture. Thank you, sweetheart. It's the same thing. The dead in Christ will rise first, and for at least 3.5 years, they will walk around as zombies. But Jeff, they're going to go to heaven with us. Well, then you better hope and pray that, I don't even know which ones are still alive, but some of them people from that zombie show make the rapture, because you're going to need it, because there's going to be zombies running all the hell over heaven. Zombies on the streets of gold. You didn't think about that part, did you? Zombies on the streets of gold. Oh, dude, that's a little mini show right there. Zombies on the Streets of Gold. Or how about Zombies on Glory Avenue? No, Streets of Gold. Zombie on the Streets of Gold, coming soon to Rockfin. Coming soon to Rockfin. It's plain. It's easy to see. I don't know how you can't get it. Maybe you don't get it because you don't have focused life force energy. If you were living in this high consciousness environment that focused life force energy sends to you on demand, you would get this. I'll bet there's not many Christians that live in a focused life force energy environment. It's devilish. It's demonic. What do you think, honey? Do you think Christians go for fluffy or not? Somebody has had a little medical marijuana, ladies and gentlemen, and she's looking good. See you, baby. I bet they don't. But anyway, I'm sorry. Gold will be $3,000 per ounce by Christmas, says Two Trees. Speaking of which, we just did the Focus Life Force Energy. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, come down on the videos. Click on FLFE, Focus Life Force Energy. You can find out all about it. But guess what? Thank you, Two Trees. Mint Builder. Precious metals have a 5,000-year track record of being real wealth. If you want to buy some precious metals, that's the smartest guy I know. One of the smartest guys I know. Mint Builder guarantees you the lowest price. They also have subscriptions where you can get, like, I get these right here. Well, let me show you. I get these because I'm kind of, just in case there is like this coronal mass ejaculation, just in case there might really be some type of a tribulation kind of thing. These little bitty silver pieces that are about the shape of a dime, they might come in handy. Or maybe, ladies and gentlemen, the full ounce silver might come in handy. And if you like to collect things, and if you're looking to really kind of get the stuff that's the most expensive, look at this. The things that are the most valuable. What's in here? Oh my, look. It is collectible silver coins. Woo, look at those. Those are very nice. But anyway, you can get subscriptions, so even when you forget to buy stuff, it comes to you, and before you know it, you're building some real wealth, potentially. I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't even play one on YouTube, just so you know. Wheels are coming off the bus, says Two Trees. Folks, this all connects together. And by the way, every time I've got one of those collectibles, it's worth at least $100 more than it was when I ordered it. We're talking about prophecy. You've got to learn that prophecy isn't prophecy. Prophecy is scripted predictions. Here's what we're going to do. Let's tell them what we're going to do. And then when we do it, it looks like we're divine. Come on. Bill Gates, 2015. As bad as Ebola was, said Bill, the next pandemic will be much worse. Specifically, he warned about a deadly flu that would infect large numbers of people very quickly. Oh, Bill Gates is a prophet. No, Bill Gates knows the plan. The Wall Street Journal claims that he made the same warning again in 2018 and about whether you should be forced to be vaccinated. Oh, Bill Gates is like Jesus. He's a prophet. They are exactly the same. Barack Obama warned about a Spanish flu-type epidemic as president in 2014, mere months before the COVID-19 scam-demic. The CIA warned of a large-scale contagious outbreak that could cripple the world economy and strain international resources. The CIA is prophets, just like Jesus. Ooh, it's prophecy. Prophetcy. Prophecy. Other warnings came from virologist. Can you play the virology? Anyway, virologist Robert Webster and Jeremy Coyne-Doink, former director of the U.S. Agency for International Development's Office of U.S. Foreign Disaster Assistance. Both were worried about a mutated flu that could echo the scale of the 1918 Spanish flu outbreak. They're all prophets, Plastic Gates. They're all prophets. They are. They're prophets exactly like the Bible prophets are. Exactly like. But you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com, come under the videos, click on Mint Builder, get your best prices, and help a brother out. This 2020 scamdemic was not just unprecedented in terms of its scale. Because, I mean, for most of us, you have to be over 100 years old to remember the Spanish flu. We never had anything of this impact occur in our lifetimes. And by the way, today, you heard it here first. I predicted this. I predicted this a long time ago. Remember when I said that the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, that they will be only allowing the vaccinated in to see the games? Oh, Jeff, you're crazy. Jeff, you're silly. Oh, am I? Am I really silly? Because today, ladies and gentlemen, today, the New Orleans Saints of the National Football League. And, you know, isn't it interesting? It's the Saints. The Saints. When the Saints go marching in. Catholic New Orleans. The Saints have just announced that the only people that will be allowed into the Superdome, and it's the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It's also interesting. I did call it 3-inch ape. Thank you. The only people that will be allowed to come into the Superdome to watch football games are those that have been, wait for it, vaccinated and can, or at least show proof of a clean test. So what does that show you? That shows you that they really want you vaccinated. But that also shows you that if they can't get you vaccinated, they'll settle for you being tested. Why? Because the test has the graphene oxide on it. The test has the same stuff that the vaccine has. It's just not as efficient of a delivery system. Don't get tested. Don't do it. But I'll lose my job. Have you? I can't understand this. I gotta get tested. I'll lose my job. Have you freaking walked down a street, any street? Help wanted, 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 help wanted. We'll pay you $50. McDonald's will pay you $50 to go on a freaking interview. McDonald's is paying you $50 just to show up on an interview. Do you remember the McDonald's gift certificates? Do they even have those anymore? Just always get those for Christmas. I get a $5 McDonald's gift certificate. Can you believe this? I know you can believe I called it, but wow. They want you to be vaccinated, but they'll settle for you having a test. Don't get the test. The test is just vaccine light. They're still getting the graphene oxide into you. Jeff, they're making it harder to get hired, though. Just you, if you want a job, you can have a job. You can. You can. It's just that simple. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that tonight. The greatest legacy of this scamdemic is the degree to which information about the scamdemic has been censored. I know something about this. I used to have a YouTube channel with over 52,000 subscribers. It got shut down overnight, unilaterally, for what? Medical misinformation, because I talked about this stuff. You got to have both your shots to attend. If we're talking about football, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If we're talking about hockey, the Winnipeg Jets. Joe Sapien says he has the testicular fortitude to ditch his benefits if they force him to get the jab. I bet you do, Joe, but they won't take your kimono, bro. You can still sit back in that kimono. That silky coolness resting against your skin. Oh, Cynthia, where's my silk robe? So the scandemic, the lasting legacy of the scandemic is censorship. How your rights as a free American, a free Australian, a free German, all the other people that we have, how they've been trampled by using the spamdemic. Spamdemic, I like that. It's supposed to be scam, but spamdemic works too. I like it. And public health as leverage. This is the true sucker punch of this pandemic. The ways in which the Constitution has been shredded by using the stupid 19 and public health as an excuse. And I'll repeat it again. The guys that wrote the Constitution, the guys that made the Constitution, and the guys that made the Constitution real, they won the Revolutionary War in the midst of a smallpox epidemic. Look it up. And we have allowed ourselves to put on masks, stay at home, get jabs over something with a 99% cure rate. Two Trees says he had a silk one from Japan in the 70s. It was amazing. Oh, I bet. I can just feel that cool, silky slickness covering my body. Kind of makes your nipples get a little hard. Can I say that on the radio? Oh, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. Sorry about that. I probably shouldn't talk about my nipples on the radio. You remember Hello Tokyo? Anyway, they put every single American under house arrest. Remember we talked about Typhoid Mary, who was the first false flag? She wasn't real. She might have been real, but they used her. 30 years she spent in jail. 30 years. Over nothing. They couldn't prove anything. They put every single American under house arrest. They shut down the economy, and they arrested people for going outside. It wouldn't have been possible to control the American population so effectively if the so-called elites in power didn't also control the media and censor the independent media. So if we want to find out who is in control, all we have to do is find out who is in control of the media. Who's in control of the media? Oh, yeah. There's one ethnicity that is over 95% in control of all forms of media. If you figure that out, you'll start getting close to the answers. Did China do it deliberately? You know, only the independent media asked this question, and it's not even the right question. The China did it narrative is, in my opinion, what was the great catch that 3-inch said? What did 3-inch say? Old Orleans is in France. Oh, New Orleans, Louisiana. Old Orleans in Francais. Look what's going on there. Lots of people protesting the stupid COVID nonsense. Interesting that the first football team, New Orleans, are doing this. French connections. Oh, man. Great call, 3-inch Abe. Good stuff. Man, we got some smart people in this. The government and the media have been dishonest from day one about this scamdemic. It wouldn't have been possible to control the American population so effectively if these elites didn't also control the media and censor the independent media. Who censors the independent media? Zuckerberg, the people that run the other places. Again, they're the same. Wow, they're the same people. Wow. Both have been complicit in hiding and misinterpreting data with the WHO and declaring a pathogen with a 99% plus cure rate as a global pandemic. Are you serious? All this was and is being done to provide cover for the real perpetrators. I'm saying that China did it. It's the China virus. China. That was floated as cover to prevent us from seeing who the real perpetrators are. Who's the real perpetrators? Answering that is as easy as answering who controls the American government and who controls the media. What ethnicity is wildly disproportionately represented in the American government? What ethnicity is 80, 90% of the Biden cabinet and like 75% of the Trump cabinet? Who owns and controls the media? Find that out. And you're on the way to knowing the truth. And guess what? Those same people are the ones that invented the CCP. They're the ones that instigated, funded, guided, directed the Chinese Communist Revolution and every communist revolution before it. Isn't that interesting? That's an interesting kettle of gefilte fish. And things get curiouser and curiouser. As late as March 1920, or as late as March of 2020, both the CDC and the Surgeon General of the United States and phony Fauci were saying, don't wear masks. They don't work. In fact, they were saying, don't wear masks. They're not. Okay, Surgeon General Jerome Adams was telling the public not to buy masks. You remember that? He said they were not effective in preventing the general public from catching the virus, but if healthcare workers couldn't get them to care for sick patients, it puts them and our communities at risk. So you were a bad person if you were buying and wearing a mask. As late as March 2020. Wow. Fauci said masks don't work. It was therefore very strange when the government, including the CDC, began recommending we all wear non-medical cloth face masks to protect against the spread of the virus. So instead of claiming masks were not helpful and possibly even harmful, as Fauci wrote in his paper about the Spanish flu, the government eventually made the wearing of such masks mandatory. We still contend with the mask mandates today, and it looks like there might be a new round of it pending. Wow. The new normal, it's the same as the old communist normal. And by the way, new normal is a focus group tested phrase used by power brokers and politicians to continue the brainwashing to get us to accept the infringement on our rights. The power grabs of this pandemic, this scamdemic, the leverage of public health, the weaponizing of the lockdowns, was all for the one purpose, ladies and gentlemen, the one purpose of bending the public to the will of the so-called elites. James Williams' $5 tip says the way out of this might involve backyard agriculture, garbage industry, and front yard market. I agree. I like it. You're not supposed to question these attacks on your rights. You're not allowed to protest. You're not allowed to speak out. You must obey, or they will destroy you. They will try to destroy you. And what I have to say is, I'm your huckleberry. That's just my game. And confusion, folks, is a tool of power. When nothing makes sense, when there's only constant disagreement, that turmoil, that confusion, it only serves those in power. Why do you think the Bible is so doggone hard to understand? You know, I was going to do something else today, and I was going to look at the ram in the bush, because we're the ram in the bush. We're the substitute sacrifice. But anyway, it says in Genesis, I think that's in Genesis 6, it says, and God tempted Abraham. God tempted Abraham. But James 1:13 says, God tempts no man. That's confusing. That doesn't make sense. Genesis says God tempted Abraham. James says, and it's interesting because Genesis is the first book of the Old Testament, and James is the first book chronologically of the New Testament. You got to notice these things. Genesis, first book of the Old Testament, God tempted, as I spit on myself, God tempted Abraham. First book of the New Testament, God doesn't tempt anyone. Confusion. Well, don't ask those questions. Just have faith. Put it on the shelf. The power grabs of the pandemic, the leverage of public health, the weaponizing of lockdowns is all for the purpose of bending your will to theirs. You're not supposed to question. In church, you're not supposed to question. You're just supposed to trust. And it's funny because the Bible says trust those that are in authority. It's another tool to usher in the bleak future that these power mongers intend to use to continue controlling you. What if we all decided that we weren't playing? Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for public shaming. Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer. The President of the United States has said that people that won't get vaccinated are killing people. Can you believe that? That's public shaming. And people that won't get vaccinated are being treated far worse than black people ever were. Ever were. Get ready for the censorship to increase. I already got kicked off of YouTube. They're already not letting you say anything anywhere to anybody. Next, wait for the COVID marshals. A new form of police that are going to be walking around bothering people with no mask on. Have you been vaccinated? Why not? We're going to give you a ticket for not being vaccinated. I hate to predict it, but boom. And get ready for the informants. You're walking down the street without a mask. You say hi. And then you see this blue-haired BITCH. I just saw this really good-looking guy, about 5'11", with marvelous gray hair, really, really good shape. He's not wearing a mask. Will you come and arrest him? Get ready for these informants, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready. Get ready for the mandatory vaccines. Get ready for the mandatory vaccines. Get ready for the vaccine passports. You already can't go to the football game. And get ready for these mandates to last forever. Remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve? It's almost 2 years. And it still isn't flat, is it? No, it's not. You're listening to Late Night in the Heartland. I'm Jeffery Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower. I am the mailman, bringing you the mail. Rain, snow, sleet, dark and night, we are here to help you get it right. And we're not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, except for right now. We're going to take our second break. And we are going to be right back after this. We'll finish this up and we'll get to your calls. This is real world stuff, folks. This is real world stuff. But there's help for us in this real world. And part of the help comes from great people like Focus Life Force Energy. We're here to do one thing, to help you unindoctrinate yourself. And this is part of that. We'll be right back after this with more Late Night in the Heartland.
All FLFE subscriptions include the brain optimization program. This is brain optimization for our modern world, which today is including more and more EMF or electromagnetic fields. And we look at those as either positive electromagnetic fields, which the earth and our bodies produce those, or negative or consciousness lowering electromagnetic fields. And that's really what we're concerned with. So this brain optimization program is designed, along with the rest of FLFE, to provide more life force energy, or as Chinese medicine calls it, qi, to the body. And the body is optimized through the flow of qi and life force energy throughout the body. And the brain optimization program provides more of this energy to the brain, particularly where it's most needed.
The FLFE environment is supported through something we call programs. The programs are positive declarative statements that are measured using consciousness kinesiology as taught or explored by Dr. David Hawkins. And those programs are very high level of consciousness thought forms. If you're familiar with the Hawkins map, they're at 999 out of 1,000 or higher. So there's a lot of work that goes into those. It's a very labor-intensive process. It's a labor of love, but it does take some time and effort. So they're very specifically crafted. And in the brain optimization program, they are oriented to optimize the brain. So during the day, the FLFE programs support increased functioning in the brain. Increased functioning are things like increased concentration and stamina, so we can study longer and retain more information, or be more present for those meetings or conversations. At night, the FLFE environment supports enhanced rebuilding of the physical aspects of the brain, which is very much in alignment with the innate intelligence of the body. We just use the environment to enhance that so that our quality of life is increased.
That's Focus Life Force Energy. And if you remember, a couple of weeks ago at the most, maybe 3 weeks, they were on the channel. Those two handsome gentlemen, Clayton and Jeffrey, were on the program with us. And they announced that, we all have the routers and, you want to turn it off at night. That's really not that practical. You're not going to remember to turn off your router every night. But Focus Life Force Energy will actually, at worst, it makes the EMF coming off the router neutral. And most of the time, it turns the EMF coming off the router into a positive and empowering frequency without lowering its effectiveness. That's Focus Life Force Energy. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, come down under the under the videos, click on the FLFE, and you can get up to 30-day trial subscription, 15 on your phone, 15 on your home. That is really, really impressive. That's really, really impressive. I love those guys. They're great. Okay, let's get back into our D program. We don't do programs here. We do D programs. So let's get back into our D program on late night in the Heartland. So these are the things we're going to get ready for. These are the things we're going to get ready for. Because if we don't do something, they're going to. All right. It's time for us to start punching back. We are people of peace. We don't want to fight. We don't want to engage. But like Cynthia says, they've really messed up because they've gone and upset the people that just want to be left alone. And it's time for us, thank you, Anomalous Sapien, to learn how to fight back, learn how to punch back. So where are we now? Right now, we are a nation that is under siege. We're under siege by these power-hungry, so-called elites. They're not really elites. They're L-eaters. They've used this concept of public health, which they could care they could not care less about. They've used this concept to steal power, suspend the Constitution, place us all under house arrest, completely control our lives, up to and including forbidding us the freedom of assembly. But for every tool, every weapon that the elites have to keep us under their thumbs, we can fight back. And if we enlist our fellow Americans, red, yellow, black, white, and I'll even work with Christians, Muslims, Jews towards this end. We can sort that other stuff out later. But if we enlist our fellow Americans, those who are still learning, yearning to breathe free air, there are Christian people that don't want to put on the mask. There's Muslim people that don't want to put on the mask. There's Jewish people that don't want to put on the mask. There's still millions of them. If we join together, we can effectively fight back against this pandemic sucker punch. But folks, know this. To take back our rights, we have to do exactly that. We've got to take them back. Joe Sapiens. Nice to hear from you. Turn the other fist. I love that. To take back your rights, you've got to take back your rights. You're going to have to stand up to the unconstitutional power grabs. You're going to have to stand up with and for your fellow citizens. You're going to have to organize in large groups. You're going to have to get out in the streets and march against the people who are taking your rights. Even though it will be dangerous, and even though it could come at a cost. Two Trees says that the FDA just approved the jab for the immune compromised. Just came over the wire. Wow. They want to kill us all. Large-scale public disobedience is the only way to take back our rights. We need to be like the old Orleans, not the New Orleans. The old Orleans are the saints. The New Orleans, they're the ain'ts. Once nobody listens to the politicians anymore, then they'll be forced to rescind their unconstitutional orders. And of course, they'll pretend that it was their idea all along, trying to save face. Hey, Rose. And remember, we don't feed the trolls. If we stand against it, we can overcome it. Public shaming tactics, they can't publicly shame you if you refuse to be shamed. My give a damn busted a long time ago. You can't shame this guy, not me. You cannot shame me. If you can still be shamed, shame on you. That's called kowtowing to peer pressure. If you can still be shamed, shame on you. They can't shame you if you refuse to be shamed. If you refuse to apologize. And if you stand up with other citizens who agree with you. There was a woman who was doxxed, meaning giving her private information was revealed publicly online by a COVID Karen who turned the tables on a harasser. She and her supporters posted so much material about this COVID Karen that the woman went to NBC to whine that she was the victim. If that happens every single time one of these busybodies tries to enforce the elite's wishes, it'll quickly become a lot less popular to act as a tool of the power brokers. You know, there's an old statement that witches get stitches. How about that? And, you know, the St. Pete Times, my hometown newspaper, it's called the Tampa Bay Times now, they did everything but dox. They had this story about which of Florida's senators and representatives have not been vaccinated. They named all the ones that have. And all you have to do is do the math. They came this close to doxing public officials. Get ready. Get ready. Censorship? To fight back against big tech, you just need to embrace alternatives. Yeah, we got kicked off of YouTube, but now we are rocking Rockfin. Now we are rocking Rockfin. And we're flat killing it over there. We hope that you'll come and see what's going on. It's where all the cool kids are. And there's probably even t-shirts. The big tech oligarchs destroyed Parler before it could become a free speech alternative to Facebook or Twitter. But there are other alternative free speech platforms like Rockfin. ROKFIN.com. I'm the Christian whistleblower. If enough of us lend our support to these ventures, they'll become much bigger and able to compete with the big tech oligarchs' mouthpieces. And let me just say this. But Jeff, it's $9.99 a month. I don't have $9.99 a month. I'm going to get some of you mad at me, but what do you spend $9.99 a month on? Are you a smoker? Are you a drinker? Do you drink Coke? Do you eat Twinkies? Do you buy substances? $9.99. How many Big Macs do you buy in a month? $9.99. That's to get all the premium content, not just Jeff Daugherty's premium content. You can get the premium content of Crow 777. You can get the premium content from Brian Stavely, Karen B. You can get the premium content from my buddy Alex Stein. You can get the premium content from Lindsay that we had on here for $19.99. But even if you don't watch the premium content, is it worth $120 a year for you to stick it to big tech? 3-8 says, I learned something new every time on Jeffrey's shows worth $9.99 alone, not to mention all the other shows. Boom. Thank you. Is David Weiss on Rockfin? I don't know if David's on Rockfin. He should be. I hate Jaronism. Absolutely. Rose, you got to hook me up. So we can have him on or I can be on. Come on, help a brother out. And you said something about bringing me on. I ain't seen no invitations. I'm just saying. We hate YouTube. We hate Facebook. We hate Twitter, but not enough to part with $9.99 a month. I'm just saying. Put your money where your mouth is. David Weiss is not on Rockfin. Put your money where your mouth is. Or don't. As for the COVID marshals and your fellow citizens who have turned informer, the same public shaming tactics they love to use can be used against them. Oh, please ask for my help. I'd love to do it. I'd love to do it. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate it. Likewise. If the overwhelming majority of people simply refuse to be bullied by these tyrants and expose their behavior to the world, more and more of them will be forced to back down. Rose, send me an email. Let's have you on this show. Boom. Let's have you on this show. When it comes to vaccine requirements, vaccine passports, we'll have to really go to work at our state government level. Already, many states have forbidden the use of so-called vaccine passports to restrict what people can do. Florida's done this, which is awesome. I'm not in Florida anymore, but this effectively stops them from forcing you to get a vaccine by denying you access to public life. Forever mandates are also a function of government. If the government functionaries who try to institute these eternal power grabs are thrown out of office, that'll show future politicians that they can't sustain such totalitarian behavior. But if they make a mask mandate and nobody wears the mask, if they make a stay-at-home order and nobody stays at home, you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's possible. Every time Americans have come together passionately for a cause like this, we've succeeded. Because nothing is as powerful as patriotic Americans working together. Actually, that's not true. Nothing is as powerful as the last generation of real humans working together. Nothing. We can do this. We just have to decide to do this. We just have to decide to do this. Freedom, as the old saying goes, isn't free. Idaho banned vaccine passports. I'm not totally sold on DeSantis Venus, but he's been doing some good stuff so far. Freedom ain't free. And if you think freedom's free, then you're dumb. See what I did with that? What if I was going to say that too, Trees. What if they had a war and nobody came? Fighting back against these people that think they're elite but aren't, it's not going to come without a cost. You'll have to stand up for your rights. You'll have to organize. You'll have to engage in civil disobedience. But know this. Our civil disobedience may not be treated the way other, more politically correct civil disobedience is treated. We might actually be held accountable. If you'll remember, the BLM and Antifa terrorists, they spent an entire summer burning down the country, beating people up. And almost without exception, the district attorneys refused to prosecute them. Refused to prosecute them. And even the public health officials gave them a huge pass, actually claiming that the risk of spreading the stupid 19 wasn't present because the protesters' causes were noble. They're out there burning and looting and stealing, beating up white people without their mask on, but it was okay. By contrast, anti-lockdown protesters are told they're selfish, anti-science monsters who all want grandma to die. Plus, the people that dared to walk outside the ropes after being invited by the president and ushered in by the Capitol Police are sitting and rotting in jail. And seated members of Congress can't even go check out their conditions. What are they doing to those people? Is David Goldberg right? Is David Goldberg right? I hope not. I hope not. This is the double standard that we'll be faced with as we fight for our rights. It's not the only challenge that we'll have to overcome as we prepare to punch back. We also need to get ready for the future scamdemics. And Cynthia and I are committed to getting in our trailer and going to places around the country and helping and organizing and doing. If you guys want to put that together, let us know. We'll be a part of it. What will it be? What will you choose? Will you let those that think they're elite but aren't grind you under their heels? Or will you stand up like a free American, a free person? We want to be respectful to our other country listeners. Will you stand up against tyranny? Will you make the necessary preparations to fight and win the next scam-demic? We'll get through it. We will get through it. We have no choice. And we'll teach those who've tried to sucker punch us that the most powerful, most formidable person in the world is a member of the last generation of real humans with a bloody nose. That means you punched us first. And to steal a line from some brilliant person in the chat room, I forget, we're about to turn the other fist. We tried turning the other cheek. Now we're going to turn the other fist. Now we're going to turn the other fist. I see some fear manifesting in the chat room. Whether you're afraid or you're not afraid, you're right. You got to get your head together. You got to get your head right. If it's scary, you're not ready. We need people who their level of PO'd has exceeded their level of fear. I'm going to give you a little tough love. I do. That's a great idea, 3-inch shape. I'm going to give you a little tough love here. If you allow yourself to live in fear, if you allow yourself to be afraid, it's only a matter of time before you'll capitulate to them, because fear will turn out to be the most powerful emotion in your mind. If you're afraid, you will capitulate sooner or later. You need to get PO'd. Turn the other fist. You need to get PO'd. And if you're not, get yourself together. Get yourself together. It's really that important. It's really that important. Did I mention that our forefathers won the Revolutionary War against the greatest military ever assembled during a smallpox epidemic? Ooh, 2 trees. You're so right. That's reactive mind thinking. What's reactive mind? It's a fight or flight. We need to get you into the analytical mind. We need to get you right. That's what we're doing. We're launching that Venus Latte, $10. Thank you. That's why we're launching a new initiative for white Dianetics. And once we get through that, we'll get into white Scientology. They're banking on your fiercest pajamas. Powerful, powerful. Let's open the phone lines. Let's open the phone lines. Let's put up the phone number and let's open the phone lines. Very simple. We're on the radio. You can't cuss. And this is high level stuff. So you can't be boring. You can't cuss. We don't want you to be rude. No, let me state that positively. You have to be polite and you have to be interesting. Sarah Lena Love, thank you so much for the $5 tip. I appreciate it. So the phone lines are now open. 913-279-0831, 913-279-0831. Be polite, be interesting. Don't call in and try to preach a sermon. And here's our first caller, just like that. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, it's John at Tulsa.
Hey, one of my favorite callers. What's up, John?
Hey, I mean, you know some guy by the name of Jared Peters on there tonight?
I did.
In the chat room? Yeah, that's my son.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I mean this figuratively, not literally. Now you've got 2 Peters to deal with.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, what they say, 2 Peters are better than 1.
Okay, well, 1 year now. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Melanie with a $10 tip.
Hey, there's another deal that came up. They say the way they test for this virus, that if they don't count it as you're clear unless you've had the virus you've had the vaccine for 2 weeks. So anybody that gets COVID during that 2 weeks, which it does probably give it to you, are not counted as being dying from COVID, not from the vaccine,
isn't that interesting?
But from the disease. So that changes the numbers.
It does. So they're playing with the numbers even more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're playing with the numbers.
Terrible.
My son told me that, and I didn't realize that. But that's it. Doesn't count as a virus a vaccine problem. It's counted that they've already got COVID-19 because they don't count it. It's effective for 2 weeks.
Terrible stuff, John. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I didn't know it.
They're playing dirty.
They are. It's the only way they know how to play.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, brother. Melanie says, Jeff, do you strip like Alex Stein? I didn't know Alex strips. I haven't seen this stripping thing. How far down does he go? Does Alex strip for tips? That's funny. That is funny. I didn't know that was a thing. They've always been fudging the numbers, and they continue to do so. The phone lines are open, 913-279-0831, 913-279-0831. You're listening to Late Night in the Heartland, and we're so glad you are. I'm going to get back into this big time because it's very, very important. This is a great segue. Thank you, Jeff. You're welcome, Jeff. This is a great segue. He opens his shirt when he has donation sweats. Oh, that's funny. I like that. But he's got that tie on. Does he break the tie too? Dude, I like it, Melanie. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Jeffrey Iris in Colorado.
Well, it's nice to talk to you again today.
Yeah, they're starting in Colorado, telling us we're going to start the mask up again. Numbers are going up, so here it comes again. And another thing was I saw this doctor talking about D-dimer. D-dimer is a test where they do check when you're in the hospital. If they suspect a clot, they will use that test. And these patients have irregular cells, like with little spikes coming off of them. And they were all high on all of his patients that he tested that had taken the jab.
Wow.
Yeah.
Terrible
So
stuff.
I thought that was really interesting.
It is interesting. Thanks for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it, Iris. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffery Daugherty.
Hey, it sounds like two trees.
It is. So I got to thinking about this mask mandate, and I'm currently in one of the communist states where they implemented it. So I thought, well, I'm just going to read that mandate.
I got that document you sent me from the governor, so keep going.
Yeah, so I started reading, and then it gets down to section 7, and it says those persons who are exempt. And then part 3 says anyone with a medical condition. And then as you finish reading part 3, it says, and you cannot ask them what the medical condition is.
Ooh, I like it.
So I walk around with impunity, and when somebody says, you have to have a mask, I say, no, I'm exempt. And they go, really? And I pull it up on my phone, and it's got the governor's seal on it. And it's, very official. And I said, okay, C7? Yeah, exempt. And I said, read it, number 3. And they read it, and they go, oh, my God. And they say, I'm pulling that up and printing it out, blah, 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 blah. So I'm pretty sure that every state or every place that has a mandate for a mask probably has an exemption built into their law or whatever edict, because their attorneys wouldn't let them force people with medical conditions. Otherwise, they would be violating ADA, and they can't ask you what it is, or they'll be discriminating per the law.
That's Americans with Disabilities Act.
The ADA is the American with Disabilities Act. They'd be violating that if they forced everybody to wear a mask. So they had to provide for an exemption. And then they can't ask you what your medical condition is, because they would be discriminating. Otherwise, they'd have to ask everyone that walked in the store or wherever you are.
Right.
So in other words, if you pull up your rules in your state, you might find that there's an exemption. I'm willing to bet that it's in every single one of the rules wherever you are. Now that doesn't stop them from harassing you, but when you show them that piece of paper from the governor's office, it really cools their jets.
Now, two trees, do they still have the right? Remember, what is it? We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. Do they still have the right to say, hey, it's our business, we want you in a mask, or we don't want you in here?
No, they do not.
I love it.
They cannot do that. They cannot do that. That is against the law.
Oh, equal access. David Weiss told us about that.
Yeah.
Reasonable access, I think it's called.
Yeah, you can't deny service on that basis.
I'm definitely on that. Folks, you've got to get on that with your state. Look it up, read the mandate, and there's probably an exemption. You have any other good stuff for us?
I think it would be great to have Rose on your show.
We're going to have Rose on for sure.
Yeah, that would be super. And enjoyed the show tonight. Really good. And I sent you an email on this whole whatever charade that's going on. You were out of town, but it discusses what they're doing and the psychology behind it, and how they're basically going to turn the people like us into, biblically speaking, scapegoats.
Yes.
I'll resend that email to you. It's pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will look forward to getting it. And you will see Rose on the show as soon as we can get her on.
That sounds great. Take care.
Take care, brother. Appreciate it. Wow, it's a good night in the Heartland, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a good night in the Heartland, but it's a better night when I can spend it with you cousins, the last generation of real humans. And this Solex energy healing thing, sometimes I still deal with getting mad, and I sometimes want to say, I'm done with you. The company made a few little changes at the beginning, and I got mad. I'm like, eh. But it's such a great device. It scans you. It tells you, gives you suggestions. It gives you frequencies for almost any and every ailment. And you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com, come down under the video, click on the Solex. It's great, great stuff. And the website is fabulous. But what it is energy medicine. It scans your whole body. And it is, I went and did a blood test at the VA, and the Solex nailed it. Nailed it. Without taking any blood. Energy medicine. It's got frequencies for all types of ailments. It scans you, all of your organs, all of your bones. It's amazing stuff. And when these calls quit coming in, I'll get to the point that this scamdemic is not real. It's not organic. It's an inversion of energy medicine. We'll get to that after we talk to, I think it's Joe. It's late night in the Heartland. Is this most honorable sapien son?
Yeah.
Joe, do you have your silk robe on right now, even as we speak?
No, I left that on in my dresser.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, tell us what's going on, Joe.
So, now I might not have as much knowledge as to trees, but still I am glad to be here to empower the best that I can be.
Yes.
And with now heck, I forgot what more I was gonna say. Oh yeah. I wonder. Now this is a mischievous part of me. I wonder what I can get away with my condition.
I love the way you think, Joe.
Love
the way you think.
And I love the way you guys think. It makes me a whole lot sharper.
You're a good man, Joe. And Joe said that he wonders what he can get away with his condition. What can he leverage? I like that thinking. You got to use what you got, baby, and use it for all it's worth. I like it, Joe. I like your calls, and I mean, he's an inspiration to me. I get a little choked up because like Two Tree said, Joe, you always lift me up. Joe, you know how easy it'd be for Joe to sit at home and say, "Oh, I have a little trouble speaking. I can't be heard very clearly. People will laugh at me. People will say mean things to me. I'm just going to sit here and not say anything." And then we would miss out on the wisdom and the joy. I love it when he laughs. I really kind of even get a little bit teary, but that's a guy where I've literally done this. I've been like tonight, and this is true. I was down, got in the sauna, got out, walked over to the 39-degree plunge tub. I'm like, I don't want to get in this damn thing. And I said, but Joe wouldn't let it stop him. And so, boom, I was in. I've done that on several occasions. And when you feel like you want to quit, ask yourself, WWJD, what would Joe do? What would Joe do? And Joe's got a lot more challenges than you do. What would Joe do? I like that. That's another t-shirt. What would Joe do? I love it. I love it. That's really good stuff, folks. That is really good stuff. It's 11:11. You know what that means? That means it's 1 minute from 11:12. It's that simple. So I'm convinced, and our friend Glenn Streeter has helped me kind of arrive at this. I am convinced they have never isolated this supposed pathogen. They've never isolated it. And if you know anything about host theory versus germ theory, you know that germ theory is a crock made up by the pharmaceutical industry, which was the original snake oil salesman. Exactly. 3-inch ape. I'm going to write that down. Sorry, folks. What would Joe do? And then people ask you, what do you mean, Joe? I kind of like what would Jeffrey do, but hey. Anyways, what was I talking about? What was I talking about? I totally lost my train of thought. I blame Joe Sapiens. What was I talking about? It was going to be good. It was going to be profound. Somebody tell me in the chat room what I was talking about. But anyway, doggone it. Somebody tell me what I was talking about. But listen, we're going to be back tomorrow night from 9 p.m. till midnight, and we're going to have another great program. I'm not sure what it's going to be about. There's so many things to talk about, so many powerful things and powerful directions that we can go. Yeah, germ theory versus host theory. And you know that they've never isolated this pathogen. They've got no organic pictures of it. And if you think that the pictures you've seen are real, you're a special kind of special. And did you notice it's round like a globe? It's not real. Those aren't pictures. Those are computer-generated images. It's a novid. It's not a COVID. It's a novid. They are as real as the pictures of Earth that NASA paints. In other words, they're not real. And David Weiss put together a beautiful meme that all of the lies are globes. Have you ever noticed that? They didn't isolate the virus. They've never identified the virus. It's not a real virus. Viruses aren't even real. It's not organic. It is not organic. Great book, Bouchamp or Pasteur, by, what's her name? Ethel. I've got to get that. I know that whole stuff, but I want to read that book anyway. Let me go back over there and grab that. Boy, the chat is flying tonight. Ethel Hume. Ethelhume. Thank you, Rose. I'll definitely get that. So where was I? It's not real. It's not organic. It's never been isolated. It's never been identified. It's never been taken a picture of. Because it's not real. But yet, people are having reactions to something. They're having reactions to something. And it seems that different people are having different reactions. I'm telling you, folks. But yet, even though they've never seen it, never isolated it, even though it's not organic, there's a patent for it. I don't know if you'll hear this anywhere else. This pathogen is an inversion of energy medicine. It is an energetic, it's a DEW, a DEW. Not a directed energy weapon. That's what they want you to think. It's a DEW. It's a distributed energy weapon. It's a dispersed energy weapon. It's black Dianetics. It is a frequency weapon. Why do you think it's so tied to 5G? And whatever's in that big V, it links up with 5G. That's what it is, folks. That is what it is. I'm telling you, that's what it is. It's a do weapon. I was going to save this, but let me roll this out. Let me roll this out. I'm going to shut down the phone lines just for a minute because I don't want anybody to call in and mess up this little spiffy presentation I'm about to do. I was going to roll this out at another time, but I'll just pull it out of here. Where am I at time-wise? I'm at about 2:18:25. So I can pull this out and make it a little clip on Rockfin. Check this. I almost said a bad word. Check this out. This is going to blow your mind. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, here we go. We got about 40 minutes left, and we're going to put them to use. This isn't going to take 40 minutes, but this will be good. Can't wait to show you this. Boom. Where am I at? Here we go. Here we go. Are you all ready for this? I don't think you are. I don't think you are, but here we go anyhow. Here we go anyhow. All right. Bonus coverage on Late Night in the Heartland. It's a do. It's a do. Notice it's a globe. It's a lie, just like I know that you think I'm crazy. We do not live on a spinning ball. We do not live on a spinning ball. And you are not getting sick from a spinning ball. You're not. This is not a picture. This is a piece of art. And this is a do, ladies and gentlemen. Stupid 19 is a do. A DEW. It has never been isolated. Never, ever has it been isolated. It has never been organically identified. It hasn't. And yet it has been patented. It has been patented. Dippity-doo-dah. It is real. And you put those two words together, is real. I'm just saying. It is real, but it is not organic. It's a DEW. A distributed energy weapon. A dispersed energy weapon. Oh, we need all of these 5G towers because it's got to be so, maybe they need it because they got to do this. It's a dispersed energy weapon. Directed energy weapons, even though they're real, they might have really been a distraction for this. This is the real deal. This is the bottom line. This is the end game. It's a do, ladies and gentlemen. A distributed, a dispersed energy weapon. And you heard it here first. Wow, I wasn't expecting to do that tonight, but hey, it's always a good time to do good, right? So I think we did good there. I will open the phone lines back up right now. But anyway, you're going to start hearing more about Solex because it's so profound, and we've got to get ourselves to the place where we're independent of, as much as possible, these doctors and hospitals, as they're going to stop treating us if we don't have that jab. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need friendship. Anyway, if we putting together the efficacy of the Solex device and the advice, the practical advice that we got from Two Trees last night and that we got from Glenn Streeter a while back. Ooh, we need to have Glenn and Two Trees on together to talk about this stuff. Put it all together for us. Glenn and Two Trees. I like that idea. Thanks, Jeff. You're welcome, Jeff. And a beautiful comment from Rose. Where'd it go? Building 7 was a distraction from no planes. She's right. There's not very many of us that believe there weren't any planes, Rose. But there weren't. So if we get the Solex, and that's what these bracelets are that I wear because you can imprint them. Well, and the necklace. But anyway, I'm not going to pull them out. Solex plus what we learned from Glenn and Two Trees, we're hooked up. We're hooked up. Where's my phone number? So they are 913-279-0831, 913-279-0831. I'm Jeffery Daugherty. It's late night in the Heartland. I'm your mailman, bringing you the mail, and it does look like an artist's conception only because it is. Only because it is. All right, guys, the phone lines are open. We got about another half an hour to roll through here, and I've got so much good stuff. We're going to have a whole show of just good stuff. Maybe we'll call it the Good Stuff Show. Maybe we'll call it the Good Stuff Show. Oh, I saw this, David. Mimetic therapy. Mimetic therapy. Let's look at this a little bit. From the article, man is the creature who does not know what to desire, and he turns to others in order to make up his mind. We desire what others desire because we imitate their desires. Christianity is a perfect expression of that. Mimetic theory posits that mimetic desire leads to natural rivalry and eventually to scapegoating, which Girard called the scapegoat mechanism. So I haven't read this article, but as I'm just thinking along with this, we want to be accepted. We want to be liked. We want to be like everybody else. Mountain Dew. Boom. That is so good. Mountain Dew. That is so, so good. We don't really know what we want, so we want what everybody else wants. Lisa, you're right. We don't do programs here. We do deprograms. We don't know what we want, so we figure that everybody else must be smarter than we are, so we want what everybody else wants. And then the people that don't want what we want, the people that don't have the mimetic desire to go along with the herd, then it creates a rivalry between everybody that knows and those people that don't. And those people that don't end up getting scapegoated. We want to be liked. We want to get back to normal. We're going to take the vaccine. These people that won't, they're bad people. We need to scapegoat them. We need to scapegoat them. Mimetic theory of desire is an explanation of human behavior which originated with the French historian René Girard. We're all over the French tonight. The name of the theory is derived from the philosophical concept of mimesis, which carries a wide range of meanings. In mimetic theory, mimesis refers to human desire, which Girard thought wasn't linear, but the product of a mimetic process in which people imitate models who endow objects with value. You get it? Oh, he's famous, and they did kill the scapegoat. He's famous, she's famous, so I should want what they want. And I like it because I'm on the right track. I hadn't read this. But the Colloquium on Violence and Religion is an international organization of scholars, practitioners that are interested in mimetic theory, because obviously religion is mimetic theory. We've got all the answers. We know what's right. We know what's best. You need to follow us. Wow. I love it. Boy, these sound like some good books. René Girard. I see lightning. I see Satan fall like lightning. Ooh. Evolution and conversion dialogues of the origin of culture. I'm going to get these. Thank you, Two Trees. That is powerful. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. Let me put that one with a star. It's already got a star. See, I had it. I just hadn't had a chance to get to it. What did I pay Amazon for? Oh, yeah. I bought a holster, an inside the waistband holster for my new gun. Rose, I apologize for the delay. Rose, I'm with you. Let's do it. We'll be calm. We'll be calm. I think I have 8 days left. I'll email you when it's over to plan something. Perfect. 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 All right. Love it, Rose. Anytime, you're on the top of my list. What else we got here? Donald Trump is still sending me emails. I just delete him, but one of these times he's going to send me something I want to read. So that's why I keep him on there. Mimetic theory. There's the other one that I got from David about that. Rose. Local American communities need to form local committees of correspondence. That's a video. Sounds interesting. Don't know what that is. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Karen sent this to me. You saw the video I did on Rockfin Arnold. Oh, that's just horrible what he did. Just horrible what he did. Now, here's something that, oh boy. The CDC has announced this from intrepid field reporter Get Dagger. The CDC has announced COVID internment camps for every U.S. city, and they will separate families. And this is true. I looked it up. I verified it. Cynthia sent this to me. Dagger sent it to me. A plan published by the CDC calls for nationwide COVID concentration camps to be operated at the camp/sector level. Now, they don't call them concentration camps, to be fair. And again, they're going to do it just because they love us so much. What they say they're going to do is they're going to take the individuals who are high risk. They're going to take the individuals who are high risk, and they're going to take them from their families and take them from their homes and place them, because they love them so much, in a safe facility. In a safe facility. Among the other horrors, the CDC openly calls for separating couples and families, and then admits that this action will cause extreme psychological trauma among Americans who are targeted and ripped from their homes to be placed in these COVID camps. These camps are being launched in every U.S. city. I think that's a little bit of an extrapolation, but it's certainly possible, and will be used as a staging area for mass executions of American citizens. That's an extrapolation, but it's not outside the realm of possibility, who refuse to go along with the CDC demands. The CDC is a military organization. That's an extrapolation. It's a private company that claims authority over the United States. Nah, I'm not going there. But very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. We do know the CDC is calling for these. We do know the CDC says they're going to take split up families. We do know that they're probably going to be rolled out at least regionally. Eat the meat, spit out the bones. Good stuff. Good stuff. The Invisible Rainbow. Robert Stanley sent me that book. Okay. That's a video. I can't look at that one. Oh, this is David. Perfect. That's interesting stuff too, right there. Sorry, guys. I'm just going through stuff, trying to fill in here. And you can call in if you want to call in. Oh, here's an interesting one. This is a very interesting one. This comes just from Tracy Dyer by way of, well, she found it on Telegram. That's all I'm going to say about it, because I'm not 100% sold on the channel that, I already talked about this. World War I ended sooner than expected, leaving huge quantities of unused experimental vaccines. 3-inch Ape is saying CCP instead of CDC, because if you look at it, CDC is not really the name of that organization. It's Center for Disease Control and Prevention, so it's CDCP. So if you drop the D, it's CCP. Anyway, fearing that soldiers coming home would spread diseases to their families, the U.S. government published the largest vaccine fear campaign in history. They used the human population as a research and development lab to field test experimental vaccines. So they had all these vaccines from World War I. So they started testing on the general population. Tens of millions of civilians died in the same manner as did the soldiers. And instead of stopping the vaccination, doctors intensified them, calling it the Great Spanish Flu of 1918. And only the vaccinated died. Wow. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, boy. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Hello there, Jeffrey. This is Rose 777. I just couldn't wait, I guess, for our show.
Rose 777. What's on your mind?
Well, Melanie Moran didn't tell you the most interesting part of Alex Stein's comedy.
Okay.
He actually is doing a wonderful thing for himself to further himself in society. He wants to win the Olympics, Jeffrey, so he has to transition. So on the air the other night, he went through his entire transition, and now Alex Stein, prime time 99, is now a woman. So he's going to make it to the Olympics, and he's going to get the gold, Jeffrey.
Are you serious? Did he actually put on the wig and the lipstick and the whole nine?
No, it was a spiritual thing, Jeffrey. It was spiritual. Oh. It was within him, and he's really seeing the world through the woman eyes that he always had. And he did take off his pink tie and put it around his head, which I thought was a wonderful touch.
I want to see the wig, the makeup. I want to see some commitment, Rose.
I don't think he's going to do that.
I love Alex. He's one of the reasons why I'm here. He's a great guy. He really is. And that's a brilliant skit. It is, but I still want to see the wig and the makeup. I want to see some commitment.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when he goes head-to-head, with this weightlifting thing or whatever sport he chooses. I believe in him, and I think as a woman, he could seriously beat anybody at any sport.
I think he could. I think he should take on the loser that quit on the gymnastics, but that would take a little too much work. He can do something else and win the gold.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention before I go, which is that I'm just obsessing over this huge hoax. I'm calling poppycock on this story that I'm seeing. It started in San Diego, and now it's spreading like fire through the nation. And I just don't believe it one bit. But of course, I'm willing to stand corrected if I am wrong about this. But apparently, there are these poor police officers that are going to search a car, for example, and then just by being exposed, standing next to this scary fentanyl, they're falling on their heads and overdosing.
No way.
And I just cannot believe that it's such a dramatic lie. And even on Twitter, there are so many people in the medical field that are just like this. So I'm deciding that if I ever walk again, Jeffrey, I am going to become a police officer so that I can get high on anything just by standing next to it.
Exactly. 100%, Rose. I'm with you.
Thank you. That's all I've got tonight, and I just want to say what a big fan I am of yours, and I can't wait for our show.
Likewise, Rose. We appreciate you. It's always good to see you in the chat room, and I can't wait to get on the show with you. It's going to be fantastic. Wow, what a great night. What a great night. Christine Osgood sends this. This is good stuff right here. It's a big, long, it's a PDF. How long is it? But it's Vernon Coleman. Oh, this looks like a show. Stupid 19, the greatest hoax in history, the startling truth behind the planned world takeover. Oh, boy. How many pages is this? This is long. How come it doesn't tell me how many pages it is? It's super long. Oh, wow. 359 pages. Can we go through that in 20 minutes? No. But we're going to do this. We're going to look at this. Vernon Coleman, I've not heard of him. He's got a bunch of books. He's evidently, I don't know if he's a doctor or he's a smart guy. I mean, he's got all these books. And I'm trying to find the, who's Vernon? Vernon Coleman, MB, CHB, DSC, FRSA. What is that? One of the first qualified medical practitioners to question the significance of the crisis, with which you may be familiar. He advised the government had been unduly pessimistic and exaggerated the danger of the bug. At the beginning of March, he explained how and why the mortality figures had been distorted, and on March 14th, he warned the government's policies would result in far more deaths than the event itself. In a YouTube video on 18 March, he explained his fear that the government would use the crisis to oppress the elderly and introduce compulsory vaccination. He revealed the infection had been downgraded on March 19 when the public health bodies of the UK and the Advisory Council on Dangerous Pathogens decided the crisis infection should no longer be classified as high consequence infectious disease. Just days after the significance of the infection had been officially downgraded, the government published an emergency bill which gave the police extraordinary new powers and put millions of people under house arrest. Dr. Coleman, I thought so. Dr. Coleman, a former GP principal, I think that's a political party in the UK, is a Sunday Times best-selling author. His books have sold over 2 million copies in the UK. They've been translated to 25 languages and sold around the world. He has given evidence in the House of Commons and the House of Lords, and his campaigning has changed government policy. Wow. Yeah, I can't wait to get into this. Thank you for sending that to me, Christine Osgood. COVID-19, the greatest hoax in history by Vernon Coleman. I'm going to download this right now, folks. Hope you don't mind. Give me just 1 second. Let me hit that download button. Let me show it in folder. Let me grab it and move it over there. Boom. There's the PDF. Excellent. The phone lines are still open. If you want to call, if you want to write, do it. I still want to see some commitment from Alex. It's one thing to say you're going to be a woman, but unless you're willing to be a woman, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced of your dedication. I'm not convinced of your dedication. So come on, Alex. Man up. I guess that's not what I want to say, is it? Woman up. Is that right? That's funny. That is funny. Paul Saladino, MD. I'm getting his emails now, Two Trees. I'm about to get some of the vitamins tonight. The Heart and Soil Tribe. Discover the power of animal foods. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Return to the foods that made us human. Carnivore MD. Interesting. That's I like it. Why you should be eating liver. Interesting stuff. I can't wait. I'm always looking for something else to get me to the next level. There's nothing remarkable in your comfort zone. Remember that. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Jeffrey, this is James. Can you hear me okay?
Sort of okay.
Okay, we'll try this. speaking of tearing families apart, like what they're planning on doing,
Yep.
you remember what happened to those Mormon families years ago?
Fill me in.
Okay, there's this big story, right? They're saying, oh, the Mormon cult, these cultish people that, I don't know, homeschooled their kids or whatever. There was some allegations of abuse, and the government came in and took all these kids away from their parents, right?
I remember that.
I knew a psychologist who was hired to go in there and do damage control and help, help talk these people through their trauma. And she was like, yeah, this whole thing's trumped up. The government just causes way too much damage. But, it's kind of like a beta test. You see what I mean?
I see you.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got.
Great stuff, man. You're absolutely right. And here we're looking at the executive order. Let me show this. Because if this is fake, this is a really good fake. I don't think it's fake, but, you can't be too sure because people are really crafty. But this, I think, is real. And if it's not, it's at least worth reporting on. So, and allowing you to make your own decisions on it. So, State of Tennessee, executive order by the governor. Secretary of State Trey Hargett has signed off on it. In order to facilitate the continued response to the stupid 19, hospitalizations are increasing. No, they're not. The reinstatement of certain regulatory flexibilities is necessary. No, it's not. The vaccines are widely available and effective. No, they're not. They're not effective. Therefore, I, Bill Lee, this comes from Sarah Lena. Therefore, I, Bill Lee, Governor of the State of Tennessee, in order to facilitate regulatory flexibility in the healthcare system, economic and other recovery, and maintenance of federal compliance and eligibility, do hereby declare and recognize a continuing state of emergency, and do hereby order the following. Out-of-state healthcare providers may practice in Tennessee. Retired medical professionals may re-enter the healthcare workforce. Nursing graduates may practice under supervision without examination. Medical professional staffing flexibility is permitted pursuant to an approved plan to relieve the capacity strain on certain staffing functions. Behavioral health, inpatient, psychiatric, residential crisis care staffing flexibility is permitted. Healthcare student staffing flexibility is permitted. Healthcare student staffing flexibility is permitted in inpatient, psychiatric, and behavioral health facilities. Discretion to utilize National Guard and State Guard members in conjunction with certain healthcare and emergency service operations. Remember when President Trump said they were going to use the military? Oh my. And just in case you think I'm reading into things, discretion to use the National Guard and the State Guard in conjunction with certain healthcare emergency service operations. How about performing authorized diagnostic testing for stupid 19? Performing authorized nursing and other functions at facilities. Wow. They're going to send them out to test you. I think we're finally getting some rain here, ladies and gentlemen. Ambulance transport services, ambulance driver, designation for certain nursing facilities as COVID-19 skilled facilities and units. Ooh, special COVID units. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, it's John again.
Hey, brother.
Hey, I just had to call in. Something I hate is when you got a line of cars about a block and a half long, okay, and it was narrowed down to one lane, so you have to get in the line, to get through this.
Yeah.
And you always got one or two of these idiots that'll drive all the way down to the end and try to cut in.
John, I won't let them in if I can help it. I won't.
I won't either. And I got down there, and this one got in, and I got in, and I went by him, and I gave him a death. So I drove right up next to him after we got by, and I just gave him a death stare. I just can't stand that. Oh, man, it makes me mad.
John, it's so funny. When I was driving to Virginia and back this last week, there was exactly that situation. And there was these people that zoomed up there, and I would not let them in because they knew they went past 40 cars.
Right.
And this stupid, ugly, overweight, that's probably not important to the story, woman is leaning halfway out of her window, giving me the finger with, with both hands. And I just laughed. It was a growth moment for me, John. I just laughed. But I still didn't let her in.
I know. That's good for you. I'm glad I'm always talking to the other people that let them in. You idiot.
I'm not letting them in.
We have to sit here and wait, and you're going to let this jerk through.
Nope.
Oh.
I'm with you, John.
Anyway, I just thought I'd call in and let everybody just vent my anger about it. But anyway,
I appreciate it. It's free therapy, John. Free therapy. Here's the meat of this one. Number 18. Temporary quarantine and isolation facilities may be constructed. Temporary quarantine and isolation facilities may be constructed. Wow. And here's an interesting one. Inspections of mental health and substance abuse facilities are suspended. So these people are crazy. They voted for Trump. These people are crazy. They won't take the vax. Let's send them into a mental health facility where you can't go and inspect. It's already happening in Washington, D.C. Oh, wow. And look at that. There's the seal and the signature of the governor. But the Tennessee governor has said that they're going to build, what did he put it, number 18? Quarantine and isolation facilities may be constructed. And if they quarantine you in there, they are not going to let anybody in to help you out. Do you understand now why I say don't be taken alive? Don't be taken alive. What are they doing to people that is so horrific that they won't even allow the facilities to be inspected? What are they doing to people? What are they doing to people? French President Macron has told the French that vaccine passports protect their freedom. Oh, boy. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffery Daugherty.
Hey, superhero. Yeah, they've already built the camps in Tennessee. They've already built them. They're already here.
Oh, my.
You can see them. They're here. They've been here. So that's all I had to say. I'm glad you read that. I sent that, I think, to you guys yesterday. I can't remember, but
absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Sarah Lena. We appreciate you being on the job.
And keep sharing that. Keep sharing that with people because
I will.
This is a violation. I mean, it's the most. I lose my words. It's the most heinous act. It's and here you can't say anything about it, but then they can pass laws that is killing. What do you, anyway, you have better words, please.
I'm with you, dear. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for cluing us into it. France's vaccine passport mandate has continued to be contested and has sparked protests over the country, but Macron is not backing down, unironically telling critics that the mandate is about protecting the freedom. The vaccine passport mandate, dubbed Pass Sanitaire, was passed by French legislatures It required those attending large public events, movies, theaters, cinemas to provide proof of vaccination, recovery from the virus, or a recent negative test, just like the New Orleans. From August 9th, the mandate extended to those wishing to travel by bus or train, visit hospitals and nursing homes, as well as dine and drink at cafes, restaurants, and bars. But if you want to burn stuff down in the name of BLM, that's all right. Wow. From August 30th, the vaccine passport mandate will extend to all those working jobs that require them to interact with the public. Wow. Critics insist the mandate violates fundamental rights. The Constitutional Council has approved a two-tier society where there are two categories of citizens who don't have the same rights depending upon their vaccine status, says Julien Oudoul, a prominent member of the Rassemblement National. Wow, folks. Wow. That again was from Get Dagger. Crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Senator Rand Paul suspended from YouTube after putting out a video saying they can't arrest us all, encouraging the type of civil disobedience that we spoke of tonight. Rand Paul, every now and then, makes me want to support him, but I'm not going there again. I'm not going there again. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen. Healthcare professionals are being cracked down upon after doctors are being accused of sharing misinformation. Doctors who take to social media to discuss their opposition to various stupid 19 measures are facing calls for censorship from media outlets. Cynthia has a doctor that we're not going to mention the name of for obvious reasons. He sent out an email to his sizable number of patients, and the email was telling them things they can do to improve their immune system. I do my scan, and if I see a flu popping up on my scan, Cynthia has this little regimen of some things, many of which Two Trees talked about, and I'll take those, and then the next day I do the scan, and the flus are gone. And the doctor, can't say his name because I don't want to get him in trouble, he sent out this regimen to his patients saying, hey, if you're getting sick, start taking this, it'll knock it out. And do you know that some of his patients complained to the state medical board, and this doctor was threatened with the loss of his license. Threatened with the loss of his license simply for giving his patients information on preventive medicines. 3-inch Ape is with me on Ron Paul. CNBC says it's discovered plenty of vaccine skeptic statements on Doximity, a doctor-to-doctor networking site. Remember we were talking earlier about the stool pigeons, the stitches, the ones that get stitches, snitches. Reports shared on the app are from well-known news organizations, scientific journals. The comments are full of misinformation. They're going into the comments on posts. Melanie, $10 chat. Thanks, Jeff. Callers and everyone in chat, I appreciate you all. We appreciate you, Melanie. So there's an app that doctors use to talk to each other. They put up posts, and it's not even for posting anything. It's for the comments to posts. Oh my goodness. Doximity's only open to healthcare professionals in the United States. You have to be verified before you can join. No one can post anonymously. It's been branded as a LinkedIn for doctors. It has a market value of $10 billion. Oh. And they are threatening doctors to lose their license over comments they make. That's beyond belief. That's beyond belief. Dagger echoing what Saralina shared with us, Governor Bill Lee signed Executive Order 83. We now know that Provision 18 that we just read authorizes National Guard and State Guard troops. And see, this is why I don't like this guy. This is the Brightian Health Ranger dude. He just goes too far and he makes us look like an idiot. He says it authorizes troops to break into people's homes, kidnap them at gunpoint, take them to internment camps. That's not what it said. There's no reason for that hyperbole. Idiot. Anyway, I don't know why he has to go that way. Because I'm not sure that he's not a plant. I'll just say it out loud. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Oh, Glenn sent me this. Can I pull it up real quickly? I think I got it right here. Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Is this it? That's not it. Oh, let's close with this. I got 2 minutes. Let's close with this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's close with this. You know, it's really not that hard, guys. It's really not that hard to figure out. Watch this. This is really good. You'll like it. And we're going to close with this. Boy, that was a fast 3 hours. Watch this. Don't read to the bottom, else you'll. Enough debates. Just go out and get it already. It protects you, your family, and everyone in the community. It's been scientifically, mathematically, and statistically proven to make everyone safer. The communities that got them are overwhelmingly safer. The chances of side effects or accidents are so unbelievably small that it's completely absurd not to get one already. So quit being selfish. Quit arguing online. And go out and purchase a firearm. Boom. I love it. That's good stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is good stuff. And that was a good show. That might even have been a great show. And I hear the sweet sound of rain, ladies and gentlemen. We really, really needed some rain. So I'm very glad that we got it. And I'm very glad that you were here tonight. This has been Late Night in the Heartland with Jeffery Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, your mailman. We appreciate all of you. It was great to have so many people call in and make such great contributions to the show. Yeah, Steven says, not what I thought it was going to be. That's the point, Steven. Boom. Thank you. Everybody's saying funny. Thanks. Great. You guys are the best. You know, sometimes all the work I do, it's probably 3 hours study to 1 hour show. Sometimes you wonder, sometimes I actually ask myself, is it even worth it? Is anybody even listening? And then you get to these places with you guys, and the answer is, oh yeah, it's worth it. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started. It's Late Night in the Heartland. I'm Jeffery Daugherty. And I want to thank you for making my day. You're the last generation of real humans. Unindoctrinate yourself. Get busy. Check your mail. You got mail.